All right, hey everybody, this is Randall from Alabama Homesteader. Um, we got these broad-breasted white turkeys about 4 months ago, back in May actually, and we've raised them up. They're a little over 4 months old. We weighed our first one, and he was 37 pounds, and that was over 10 days ago. That's almost 2 weeks actually since we weighed them. These gobblers are getting a little bit heavier. It's a real challenge to get them up off the ground and into the kill cone. And they're starting to eat a lot more feed. And now we have meat chickens that are about 3 weeks old, and they're starting to eat a lot more. So we need to get the turkeys harvested and into the freezer so that we can raise up our meat chickens, and our feed bill won't be through the roof. So
That's what they thought about that.
I'm gonna pick this turkey up and attempt to get him over into the kill cone. Now what I did is I took a piece of rope and I measured around this turkey, and I found this piece of 1 inch square wire that was roughly a good size for a kill cone. So I just made a funnel out of it, and we hang the head out right here. And the reason I got it mounted right here is because this was my compost bin, and right in the bottom of this is a lot of composted vegetable waste out of the garden. And the chickens get in here and they kick it around, they turn it up, and they go after the bugs. So when the blood breaks down, that's going to be high in nitrogen, and we're going to reuse this blood along with this compost that's in here, and we're going to put this over in our vegetable garden once it breaks down. But we're going to give it plenty of time to make sure we're not putting raw blood over into the garden.
His head needs to be. There you go. His head's caught. His nose is caught. There you go. Okay.
All right. So that was a lot of effort to get that bird over into that kill cone. The reason we like the kill cone rather than just chopping the head off is we like to bleed our birds out and let the heart pump the blood out of the body. One, it's kosher. It's one of the benefits. You don't have the blood hanging out inside the meat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our knife, and we're just going to slit the artery so that the heart pumps the blood out, but we're not cutting the throat, we're not severing the neck. The turkey's going to be awake, but he's not going to feel the pain. He's just going to slowly go to sleep. All right, so let me get the knife. All right, now we're not going to show slitting the artery on camera, because we don't want to show that part of it. We don't enjoy doing this. We just enjoy the benefit of omega-3 rich poultry meat that's had the ability to go out and forage on grass and bugs. So that's why we do this, is because not for trying to save money, but for the betterment of our health. That's the reason we raise our own meat and raise our own vegetables. All right, Lance. All right, everybody. From the time you just saw a second ago till now, it's been about 2 weeks. We stopped filming on the last turkey that we were going to butcher because of filming technical difficulties. So we're on a different turkey now. As you can see, I'm in a different set of clothes. So the last turkey weighed in at 44 pounds. This turkey, we just weighed him. He's our last gobbler for the season. And he is 50 pounds, plus or minus a pound, just for any kind of mistake. But you look, that's a good solid turkey. And what we fed these birds was a 22% chicken food. We call it, the name of the food is Super Layer 22. That's the food here locally that we feed these birds. And feeding them at 22%, we got them up really big and hefty. So what I'm gonna do is I got this big 160 quart pot. We got our temperature up to about 150 degrees inside that. So we're gonna scald this turkey for 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how the feathers release. And then once we get him scalded, we're gonna put him over here on this little makeshift table, and I'm gonna start breaking them down. And where we process our birds is we're gonna take the legs off, and we're gonna keep those for cooking by themselves. We'll keep the wings for cooking by themselves. Then we'll start taking off the breast. And on the inside of that breast is the tenderloin. We're going to save the tenderloin. We're going to cut it up into cutlets, and we're going to use that for frying turkey medallions, and just for regular eating. But the rest of the breast and the thigh, we're going to grind into turkey burger. All right, so come on over here. So I got this turkey down in this pot. We're just agitating the water so the water penetrates down into the feathers, down to the skin. And you do this for about 30 to 45 seconds. Again, at about 140 to 150 degrees. And these feathers will start turning loose from the skin. And this doesn't smell good either. All right, so we'll pick
Is
up.
that the smell, or is that the stuff from?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these primary feathers and give it a quick little pull just to see how it releases. And we got just a few more seconds. We're scalding. Get these feathers to release.
All right, please.
All right, so these feathers are starting to turn loose. So we're almost there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pause, take him out, put him on the table, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, Lord. That had to have been said. All right, we started plucking this bird. Not sure how long this one's going to take. So what we're going to do is just do a little clip right here to show us taking the feathers off. This probably take about 5 to 10 minutes to get all these feathers off, and then we'll clip back over once we got the feathers off, and then show how we're going to break this bird down. All right, everybody. That was a time warp back to the bird. Just within that split second, this bird has been plucked. So that took probably 20 minutes to pluck that bird. Could have actually went a little bit longer in the scalding water, and that would have released these feathers a little bit quicker, and we'd have been back to you a little bit quicker. But first thing I do is I grab this tail. Since we're going to break this bird down and process most of it through the grinder, we're not going to use this boat as this bird is a roaster bird. So what we're doing here would be different from what you would typically do if you were trying to save this entire bird to roast for Thanksgiving. So we're just going to come back here and we're going to cut this tail off and get that out of the way. And another thing we're not going to do, we're not going to gut this bird. we're only going to take the meat right off the bone and just leave the rest of the carcass intact. So I'm going to go ahead and find where this joint is on these wings and run my knife right down into that joint. And we're going to save these wings for hot wings. And that one or two of those would feed a grown person. Trying to find that little cartilage and go right between those two bones in that joint. And once you release that tendon in there, these things come right apart. Some people do it a little bit quicker than me because they're more proficient. There we go. Found it. And then there's another wing. Make sure all these feathers get taken off. And we'll take the little drumette winglets off. Right behind it here. And we're going to kind of go around and take this meat off like it's a little drumstick. Again, looking for that joint.
There you go. It's all in the shade. Thank you.
Right. Yep. As you can tell, I'm not a professional butcher, so we're just doing the best we can here, getting this bird broke down. There's a little drumette wing, a lot of meat on that. I think this one's going to come off a little bit easier. That last one, I found that joint right away. All right, there we go. Now we put all of this meat on ice for at least 24 hours, and that allows the meat to go through rigor mortis. Well, those muscles will contract, and then after 24 hours they'll start to release. If you were to freeze this meat right after you kill it and don't allow it to go through rigor mortis, the meat will come out tough. So that's one of the secrets. If you're doing a home butcher, you want to give all your meat at least 24 to 48 hours to go through the rigor mortis. All right, we're going to flip this thing over, and I'm going to start taking these legs off. I'm going to go around behind us, and we'll just start looking for that natural curve of the legs. Just cut that skin, let that leg and thigh fall away from the breast, and we'll start looking for that ligament down in there. There's that ligament. Once that thing pops, that leg falls right apart. And we'll just open it on up. We'll try to grab as much of this meat as we can. Since most of this other meat is going to be, the thigh will go through the grinder with the breast meat, and it adds fat and flavor to your breast meat. We're going to take this thigh off of the leg, and we'll run the thigh meat through. We're going to come back and clean this carcass up and get these larger chunks of meat left behind, and we'll run that through the grinder. Same thing, looking for that little joint, cut through the ligaments, take those legs off. Now there's your quarters. I'll go ahead and demonstrate taking this. Taking this drumstick away from the thigh, looking for that natural joint, and run a knife right down through there. So clean my table off here real quick. Try to keep everything as clean as possible.
You're shaping it.
Looking for that joint right in there somewhere. I've missed the joint, so we're going to come back above it here, a little bit higher. Now, the reason we don't cut the meat off of the bone for the legs is because there are so many tendons in that leg. It takes 15 to 20 minutes just for me to take the meat off the bone. And I found out it just wasn't worth it to me. So we elected to grind the thigh, because you don't have all those ligaments in there, and save the legs for cooking. There we go. We butchered that leg. Pun intended. Alright, then there's the thigh meat. There's a lot of meat on that thigh. Probably 3 pounds of meat right there by itself. Maybe more. Alright, come to the other side of the bird. Take this leg off real quick. Get that out of the way. Some of these other feathers off that we missed. All right, flipping this bird over. Go ahead and look to release that joint, follow that natural line, and straight back.
Be careful you don't fall over. There you go.
These big 50-pound birds will wear you out trying to wrestle, getting the maneuvers. There we go. Use the weight of the carcass to pull against to take these legs off. Move this to the side. Take this leg right off of this thigh. All right. In the middle of this video, the phone stopped filming, so we had to switch to a different phone. The other phone got hot from being out here in the sun. All right, so we got the wings off, we got the legs and hindquarters off. What we're going to do now is we're going to start taking these breasts off. I'm going to not save the skin, so we're going to go ahead and peel this skin right off. So if you want to come around here with the camera, I'll show where I make my cuts. All right, so what I do is I just go right here below this breast, and I just start cutting into the skin. Get a little bit of skin going here, and we are just going to work this skin right back off of this breast meat. Now the only reason I plucked this
There's
turkey,
a yellow jacket.
the only reason I plucked this turkey is because whenever I'm working around, I don't want all those feathers getting in the middle of everything.
Mm-hmm. See?
Yes. We just roll that skin right back off those breasts.
Honey.
All right, so we just had a little yellow jacket start harassing my cameraman over there, so we had to take care of the yellow jacket. He won't be harassing anybody anymore. So I'm going to continue just to work this blade right off, take the skin right off of the breast right here. Now I'm only worried about the skin that goes right around the breast area, because what I'm going to do is take my knife and I'm going to come back and I'm going to start taking that breast right off of the bone right there. All right, so we got most of the skin pulled back. Just a little bit more of this right here. All right, so come back to the bottom of this breast meat, go right along to the bottom of that natural curve right here. You'll see that, and just start working that meat right up off of the carcass. I know I'm casting a shadow and it's difficult to see, but find that breastbone and just run that knife right along that bone. Start working that meat off. Flipping back up. Something else you can do is just come right down the middle of this breast and start working it from top down also. Just to the right side of that bone.
Some good looking breast meat. It's huge.
We'll save the tenderloins off of this for cooking, and then we're going to grind the other meat. You see that right there, that naturally that tenderloin's coming away from the rest of the breast meat. So once we get this whole breast off, we're going to let it chill overnight on ice, and then we're going to come back and slice this up into bite-sized chunks for fresh frying. Just use your knife to follow that bone. So working it and peeling it away. Right now, right up around the neck, we're working this breast meat away from his crop where he stores his food while he's waiting for his gizzard to digest it. Trying not to bust any of that open.
There's another yellow jacket.
Trim that fat right off of that while we're here at it.
Busting the claw.
Alright, we're about done with this breast. There's half a breast right there. Now what we'll do is we'll come back and layer the ice right over this and get that meat chilled down.
Okay. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Alright, so well, I'm going to go ahead and work the other side of this. We're going to get this breast off. We're going to put it on ice. We're going to wait 24 hours. We're going to come back to you, and then we'll demonstrate cutting the meat off of the bone and then taking it to the grinder and getting it ready for the freezer. Alright, welcome back everybody. It's been 24 hours for us, only a matter of moments for you. Alright, we've let all of our meat cool on ice for 24 hours. Let it go through rigor mortis. The muscles should start relaxing. Then we're going to come back and get this ready for the grind. This is one of the thighs we took off. And I'm going to go ahead and just take off the skin because I don't typically grind the skin. Some people do. So we'll trim this off real quick. I neglected to do this yesterday. I normally take the skin off while I'm breaking the chicken down. I guess I got busy with everything and didn't remember to do that. So I'll just take a minute real quick to take the skin off. I took this old piece of melamine and threw it on this stand here, and I've been using this as a processing table. One of the things me and the wife were talking about is when we're done with all of our concrete countertops for our outdoor kitchen, we can use a piece of that melamine to fit this and have a larger work surface to work off of. So one of the things that I'm wanting to do also is maybe build another stand and get the height on up to where I like to process it. That way it's not as tough on the back. Because we also do chickens. If you've been watching any of our videos, you'll see that. And the last time we did chickens, it was 4 or 5 hours and my back really started hurting from having to bend over to process. Alright, so we got the skin off of this thigh. Find that one bone that runs right through the middle. And we're going to start just taking the meat right off the bone. Just find it. Careful where your fingers are at. Just kind of work your knife and just work the meat right off that bone. Of course, we got this one chicken right over here beside me. She always likes to pick the feathers and whatever falls to the ground.
So what's that you're doing right there?
I'm just working this meat right off the bone.
What
Kinda
bone is that?
scraping. It's a thigh bone.
Thigh bone.
This is all thigh meat. We'll take that off. Process that. So there's the thigh. No bones in it. Put it in. Start cutting it down into cubes that we can put through the food processor. That thigh is going to cut up and then put it over here in this pot. Put all of our grind meat in one pot, and then we'll take our tenderloins and we'll put those over into a separate bowl and keep all that fry meat separate. All right, so I showed you how to do a thigh. I'm going to pull out this breast with this tenderloin attached, and then we'll do that. And I'm not going to bore you with doing both thighs and both breasts, so we'll just give you a run through how we do it here. On that tenderloin, there's a tendon. If you ever bought tenderloins at the store and it has that tendon in there, you know what I'm talking about. Just go ahead and work the meat right off that and get that out of there. Don't want that old tendon. But there's the tenderloin. Naturally falls away from the breast. And then you got all this breast meat over here. So we're going to take our knife, take that tenderloin off, set that to the side. We'll square this up just for good looks. And then cut the tenderloin right down the middle. You get some nice bite-sized medallions out of that. And then cut it just like you want to put it in a pan to fry it for nuggets. We eat a lot of this sauteed in a pan with olive oil, just like you would chicken, and it's really good. It's good looking cuts right there. We probably get about 3 pounds of tenderloin cuts out of one turkey like this. And that'll give us at least 3 good meals for a family of 3. All right, there's one tenderloin. So we'll take that in our pan. One of the things of living in the country is all the off-road vehicles up and down the road. All right, then we pull this half a breast over here. We're just going to trim up any kind of thing that we don't really want on there, and then cut in long strips that'll fit through the grinder. We'll put those over in the pot. Good sharp knife. get on the thicker part of this breast, the meat really gets thick, so you have to come back along and cut your long ones in half just so they'll fit down in the grinder.
Oh. She's begging for scraps.
She'll find some too. You can see right there how thick those breasts are.
Hold on. Let me show. Pick that up again. Oh, yeah.
Now again, this was a 50-pound turkey raised for 4 months. We got these chicks in May, and here we are almost the middle of November now.
The meat's hanging off.
So we kind of kept up with our feed bill while we were growing these turkeys out. And we have about $50 per turkey invested in just in sacked food that we fed up our turkeys with. So we had 9 turkeys, $50 a piece. So you can get an idea of how much it costs to raise a small flock of turkeys. But we were talking about we should have enough meat to maybe last us 2 years. We only have to do this every 2 years, or maybe we do
Every year and a half.
maybe even a couple every year from now on, just to kind of keep us some fresher meat. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and pause here. That was half a breast. That was 1 thigh. We're going to bag up the legs so that we do 2 legs as a meal by themselves. We'll do the 4 sections of wings off the 2 wings as a meal by themselves. And then I'm going to cut the other thigh and the other half of the breast up into strips. And then we'll see you inside when it's time to grind. Alright, so we're back in here, we're bagging up our cutlets. I'm putting them in 1 pound per bag. Well, I got expectedly to get 3 pounds out of here, so I got 3 bags out. If we get close to 3 pounds, I'll just evenly split it up.
So what are you doing right now?
These are the ones we're going to fry up. And so I'm just putting the tenderloin into individual
Okay, the
bags.
tenderloins.
Okay, so just under 3 pounds. Alright, so I'll bag these up and then I'll come back and we'll start putting our meat grinder together. Just scrape along the bottom, make sure you get everything out of the corners. And everything gets properly mixed. You could also take a couple pounds of this, set it to the side, and then come back with your sausage seasonings and make turkey sausage out of this. I really liked it. Michelle and Maya did not. Alright, so got that mixed up. We'll put our plate on. We'll put our stuffing tube on. And then we will get ready to bag it up. Clean my hands off real quick. I guess I should put some in the hopper first. Fill my hopper up.
What's that called?
This hopper that just holds
Okay.
your meat. We'll end up having to fill this thing up multiple times before we get all bagged up. Reach over here and wash my hands off. All right, so we bought these LEM bags, and if you see right across the top, it's got a dotted line that says 1 pound. I found that to be pretty accurate. So what we do is we like more than a pound whenever we cook our turkey meat, or whatever it is we're going to add. So we'll add a little bit extra, 4 to 6 ounces per bag, just so we have that extra meat. So just shove the bag on there, pull all the air out of it, hold the bag tight. scale, just to let you see about where we're at. So just over a pound. Pull the air right out of the top. Give it a good couple of twists and run it through our machine. Tapes the ends up, trims the ends off. Just set that right there. I'm expecting to get about 15 bags out of this.
Because it was a big turkey. I can't see what you're doing.
All right, people. Well, this is it. Out of that 50-pound bird, we got 16 packages of ground meat, 2 gigantic turkey legs, and a pack of wings that we can have wings for one night. The turkey legs were 3 pounds a piece, and 5 pounds for the wings. The total amount of meat that we got off of that one bird was 30 pounds. So we did really well with this harvest. We're really proud of it. And Epstein did not kill himself. So thanks for watching.